In this episode, you'll discover that you don't have a hiring problem. You have a business model that requires you to stay small, and you're mistaking that constraint for virtue. Hey, you're listening to She's That Founder, the podcast for ambitious female leaders who are ready to stop being the bottleneck in their business by using AI frameworks for faster delegation and decision making. I'm Dawn Andrews, and today you'll discover the cash flow catch-22 that keeps service businesses stuck at around $300K, where you can't afford the help you need, but you can't grow without it. You'll discover the 3 critical roles that traditionally cost about $150K a year in salaries, and how AI can give you that same capacity for about $200 a month. And then finally, you'll discover how to start building this capacity without overwhelming yourself or becoming a tech person, and without replacing anyone on your team. If you've been telling yourself you just need to hire better people or work harder or wait until you have more revenue, this episode is going to wake you up. So listen, Lovey, I was on a call last week with a founder who's been stuck at about $320K for 2 years. She's brilliant, her clients love her, she's booked solid, and she is so miserable and burned out. And she said, Dawn, I know I need to hire someone, but I cannot afford to bring on a full-time person until I'm making more revenue. But I also can't make more revenue because I'm doing everything myself. Sound familiar? And it's what she said next that really got me. It kind of hurt my heart a little bit. She said, maybe I'm not meant to scale. Maybe boutique is where I belong. I stopped her right there because this is what was bothering me. She had turned a structural problem into an identity crisis. She wasn't actually choosing to stay boutique. She was trapped in what I call the 300K solo ceiling. And she convinced herself that it was a personality trait instead of a fixable business design flaw. The service business model has a dirty little secret that nobody talks about. To grow past 300K doing high-end client work, you traditionally need 3 types of capability. Someone handling client delivery support, someone managing your sales pipeline, and someone running operations. And if you're actually hiring those people, it's minimum $150K a year in salaries, plus benefits, plus management time that you don't currently have. So you stay stuck, working 40, 50, 60-hour weeks, turning down opportunities, slowing down your marketing pipeline, and telling yourself that you're being intentional about staying small, when really you just can't afford the infrastructure to grow. And here's where I think it gets interesting. AI has changed the game. For the first time, you can build the capacity of a $500,000 or even $1 million business without the $150K investment in human capital. And I'm not talking about replacing people on your team. I'm not talking about hiring because it's really time to hire. I'm talking about expanding your capacity when you're not ready to hire yet, or filling gaps between the capability you need and what you can afford right now. So let me show you exactly how this works. What's actually happening at 300K in a service business is you've proven your expertise. You cannot get to 300K without being awesome at what you do. You can sell, you can deliver, and you're making real money. But every single dollar of revenue requires your time, your brain, your decision-making. You're not just the CEO, you're also the strategist, the account manager, the delivery lead, the operations coordinator, the marketing department, and occasionally the IT help desk. And in that scenario, the math does not work. Let's say you charge about $10K per project and you can handle about 30 projects a year while still doing sales, marketing, and operations. That gets you to 300K. But to get to 500, you'd need to do 50 projects. Except there is no version of reality where you have time to deliver 50 projects at the quality level your clients expect. Like, just to make that real, that's 1 project per week with 2 weeks of vacation. I'm burnt out just saying it out loud. So naturally, you start to think, I need to hire someone. But here is the trap. To hire someone good enough to represent your business, you're looking at minimum 50K for one person. And I can tell you in California, it's more like 70 to 80 for somebody that has real experience. And you don't just need one person, you need 3 types of capability to actually free yourself up. You need client delivery support, you need sales pipeline management, and you need operations coordination. So you're looking at between 100 and 300K in labor costs before you make an additional dollar. And if that's your revenue already, you've just wiped out your revenue. And you don't have any promise that you're necessarily going to grow it fast enough to keep up with the demands of paying these new people that you plan to hire. So can you feel that trap closing? I mean, I've lived it. I know what that's like. You can't afford to hire until you grow, but you can't grow until you hire. And meanwhile, you're getting more exhausted, more resentful, and more convinced that maybe you're just not cut out for scale. Like, I literally have been through this, Lovey. But here's what I want you to hear. This isn't a failure of ambition or capability. It's a structural problem with the traditional service business model. And for the first time in history, ever, there's actually a way out that doesn't require venture capital, loans, or working yourself into burnout. So stay with me because this is important. The reason most service businesses stay stuck isn't because the founders lack drive. It's because the traditional growth model requires a massive upfront investment in human capital that most bootstrap businesses simply can't afford. But like I said, AI has changed the game. Not by replacing people, but giving you access to capability you don't have the revenue to hire yet, by expanding what's possible within your current budget, by creating that breathing room between being basically a solo founder with contracted vendors and a $150,000 payroll commitment. Real talk, you're not the only one dealing with this. I'm working on this exact challenge with dozens of founders in the AI for Founders community, where we're building these AI workflows together so you're not figuring it out alone. It's completely free to join. It's on LinkedIn, and you will find the link in the show notes. Now, let's go back to breaking that 300K ceiling. Okay, here's where this gets practical. Remember the 3 capabilities I mentioned? Client delivery support, sales pipeline management, operations coordination. So let me show you how AI can give you access to these capabilities for about $200 a month in software costs instead of 6-figure salaries. And let me be clear, this isn't about firing people or replacing your team or your outside vendors. This is about building capability you can't afford to hire yet. Think of it as expanding your budget, not cutting your team. Okay, capability number 1, client delivery support. So this is the person who would help you execute projects, draft proposals, create client presentations, write reports, and handle the repeatable parts of your methodology. If you were hiring someone, you're looking at $65, $75K a year for somebody who can do this well. And here's what this looks like with AI instead. I have a client who's a brand strategist. She used to spend 8 to 10 hours on every client's initial brand audit. Research, competitive analysis, market positioning, writing up findings. And that is a lot of hours for something that happens at the start of every single engagement. She built an AI workflow that does the initial research and drafts a structured audit in about 45 minutes. So to be clear, this isn't abdicating responsibility to AI. It's creating a workflow to do that initial sweep. And she's not publishing the AI-generated work and calling it done. She still reviews everything, refines it, adds her strategic insights, double-checks facts. But instead of 10 hours staring at a blank screen and doing a ton of research, she's spending 2 hours reviewing and elevating AI-generated first drafts. And what that means, let's do the math, she just freed up 8 hours per client. If she's working with 30 clients a year, that's 240 hours back. That's 6 full work weeks she just got back without hiring anyone or spending $60K on a salary with one AI workflow. AI didn't replace her expertise, it expanded her capacity to use that expertise to serve more clients. Okay, capability number 2, sales pipeline management. So this is the person who would qualify leads, follow up with your prospects, schedule calls, send proposals, and keep your pipeline organized. If you're hiring, you're looking at minimum $50K for a good sales coordinator, probably $60. AI can handle about 80% of that work. You can set up AI workflows that draft personal outreach emails based on prospect research, create customized proposals that pull from your templates and past successful projects, that follow up with prospects on a schedule that you define, that analyze which messages get responses and refine your approach. I have done this in my own business, and I've also worked with a consultant who spent about 15 hours a week on sales admin, writing proposals, customizing pitch decks, following up with leads. And she built an AI system that handles the first draft of everything. So now she spends about 4 hours a week reviewing and personalizing the outreach before it goes out. That's 11 hours back every week. Over a year, that's 572 hours. That's more than a part-time employee's worth of capacity for the cost of some software subscriptions. So again, AI isn't doing the relationship building. It's handling everything around it that makes relationship building takes too damn long. All the follow-up, all the crafting the emails, it lets you get to the actual fun of the relationship, which is the relationship. Capability 3, operations coordination. This is the person who would manage your calendar, handle client communications, organize project files, track deliverables, generally make sure that nothing's falling through the cracks. Again, if you're hiring, starting at 50, 60, 75, depending upon what state and what your situation is. And that's to find somebody that's organized enough to keep your world running. So to be clear, AI can't do all of this yet, but it can do way more than you think. And truth be told, which I'll talk about in another episode, we don't necessarily want AI that deeply connected and automated into your whole business for safety reasons. But meeting notes and follow-up actions, AI transcription tools like Otter or Firefly or Fathom can capture everything and give you summaries and action items automatically. Client communication, you can build AI templates that adapt to different scenarios. Project kickoffs, for instance, or check-ins, scope clarifications, even difficult conversations. AI can draft it based on your examples and voice. You review, always, and personalize, and suddenly you're not staring at a blank screen for 20 minutes trying to craft the perfect email. I mean, I don't know if you've ever done that, Lovey, but I know that I have lots. So it can also help with project organization. AI can help you structure systems, create SOPs, which we've talked about in lots of other episodes on the show. And it can even suggest improvements to the workflows you've got based on what's working in your own business or what's working in similar businesses. One of my clients, a fractional CMO, was drowning in meeting follow-up. Every client call generated 45 minutes of work afterwards, documenting decisions, updating project trackers, sending recaps, assigning tasks. I mean, I'm sure you've been there. And she set up an AI workflow that takes the meeting transcript, generates the recap email, updates her project management system, and flags action items for her review. So that 45 minutes is now 10 minutes, and she's not scrambling to remember what was said while juggling other things. So do you see how much time we're getting back? 240 hours, 572 hours, 45-minute tasks being brought down to 10-minute tasks. Like, this is days, weeks, months, and years of your life that you can get back here and you can use to increase your capacity. So I want you to understand that you're not replacing yourself with AI, and you're not replacing anyone on your team because you didn't have the cash to hire them in the first place. You have the team you have, but you're building the capacity that you need to grow without that $150K investment that you're not ready to afford yet. You're using AI to handle the repeatable, structured parts of work while you focus on judgments, relationships, and strategy. And this is how you break through that $300K ceiling. Let's talk about what to do next, because here's where founders get stuck. They hear all of this and they think, great, but I don't know where to start. I don't have time to learn 3 new systems. I'm not a tech person. You don't need to build all 3 capabilities at once. You don't need to be a prompt engineer. You don't need to take a coding class. Here's what you need to do. And this is what I do with my clients behind the scenes, and I am giving it away to you. So please take it and run with it. So number 1, pick your biggest constraint. Which of those 3 capabilities would free you up the most right now? Is it client delivery, where you're spending hours on repeatable work that doesn't require your full expertise? Or is it the sales pipeline, where opportunities are slipping through your fingers because you can't keep up with follow-up? I'm raising my hand for that one sometimes. Is it operations, where you're drowning in meeting notes and email and keeping track of everything? I mean, it could be any of these areas, but pick one, just one. And now that you've picked one, start with one workflow, not the entire system, but one repeatable task within that capability. So if the capability is client delivery, maybe it's the initial research you do for every client, or the outreach email to collect all of the data and documents that you need from them. If the capability is sales, maybe the workflow is proposal creation. If the capability is operations, maybe it's sending out the meeting recaps. Build an AI workflow for that one thing. Learn how to think with AI, to collaborate with AI, and see how much time you get back. And refine it until it's actually useful. And just to real deal this for you for a minute, we use at least 8 different workflows to produce this podcast so that I get more capacity back. And each of those workflows took a little time to design, and we've iterated on some of them 10, 15, even 20 times. And it has been worth every single moment because I would not be able to do all that I do if it weren't for these workflows. Okay, the last part of this is once you have the first workflow running inside one of these capabilities and you got the hang of it, build the next one and then the next one. I'm really seriously saying don't try to overhaul your entire business overnight. Build that capacity piece by piece, workflow by workflow, until suddenly you have the infrastructure of a much bigger business without the overhead you cannot yet afford. So here's what I want you to do this week. Pick one repeatable task that is eating your time, just one, something you do over and over that doesn't require your absolute highest level thinking. And then come join us in the AI for Founders community and we can build that workflow together because you shouldn't have to figure it out alone. The 300K ceiling for service businesses isn't about your capability, your work ethic, or whether you're meant to scale. It's a structural problem. The traditional model requires you to make a massive upfront investment in human capital, usually a six-figure minimum, before you can afford it. And that catch-22 has kept thousands of brilliant, bootstrapped founders stuck for decades. AI breaks that model. For the first time, you can build capacity without the investment, and not by replacing people, by expanding what's possible with your current resources, by filling the gap between what you need and what you can afford to hire. You can get access to 3 critical capabilities: client delivery support, sales pipeline management, and operations coordination for about $200 a month instead of $150K or more in salaries. Not someday, right now. You start with one capability, you build one workflow, you learn how to work it, and then you build the next one. And suddenly you have breathing room, you have capacity, you have the infrastructure to grow without burning out or going into debt to hire a team you're not ready for yet. So here's the action step again. Pick one repeatable task this week and start there. Because here's what I know after 23 years of coaching founders, most of it before the advent of AI. You are not stuck at 300K because you're not good enough. You're stuck because you're trying to scale a business model that was designed to keep you small. And AI just redesigned the model. The question is, are you going to use it? So if you're ready to break through that 300K ceiling without burning out or taking on payroll that you can't consistently afford, join us in the AI for Founders community on LinkedIn. We are building these workflows together, and you don't have to figure it out alone. It's free, it's practical, and the link is in the show notes. And hey, if this has really been helpful for you, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. No tech degrees required over here. And until then, remember that your business works because of you, and it shouldn't work only when you're in the room. I'm Dawn Andrews, and I'll see you next time, Levy.